came out, and this is the latest film from M. Night Shyamalan. You know, one of, I feel like, the most famous directors in the past 20 years, like this century. Like, he is one of the guys. Yeah, he puts his name on
they were calling him, man, the next Spielberg.
You put his name on a movie and people are going to go see it. And it seems like he still has that stigma to him. You know, he's up there with Spielberg and Tarantino, which is surprising. And I've always appreciated M. Night Shyamalan.
He puts butts in seats. That's 100%.
He does, and now he's funding his own movies as well. Old, Glass, Split. Like, he's paying for his own movies right now, and they're making money. They're doing well. So this is, you know, M. Night's doing. He has the passion for the project. So now comes out Old. And Old is the story that's based on this book. It's called The Sandcastle, I believe. Mm-hmm. And basically these people go to this beach. A bunch of people go to this beach, and they just rapidly start aging to the point where, you know, they start dying off and stuff like that. And that's basically the general plot of the movie. And I put this in my review because when the reviews first came out, I saw a lot of people saying, oh, it's just, you know, not what I was expecting, but like I still enjoyed some part. Like, they're trying to sugarcoat it because they really wanted to support M. Night and stuff. Guys, this movie's bad. Like, it's really, really bad. And we need to stop trying to, you know, like, oh, I like M. Night, so I'm not going to be mean to it. No, this movie's like awful. And it's really surprising because M. Night started off as one of the best young directors out there. Sixth Sense, Unbreakable Science, boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Back to back, man.
You're crushing it. I know people are starting to come around on The Village now. Like, that's
some people like The Village. I personally still don't. I think that movie's a piece of shit.
But the people are coming around on that one pretty hard right now. And then he hit this trek where he's like, oh, Last Airbender, After Earth, Lady in the Water, The Happening. Like, he fell off a cliff hard. And then, you know, you had The Visit, and then you had Split. And I'm a fan of Glass. I liked Glass. I think that's an enjoyable film. So it's like, okay.
He's for me, he's 50% right now with his 12 films. 6 are good. 6 are great to good. And then what did I tell you? The other 6 are dirty booty cheeks, bro.
Yep. And here we are with Old, which is just like it's such a big turd. Like, I was so shocked at how bad this film was. Because, you know, the biggest thing about this is it feels like a brand new filmmaker made this, like a student film. It feels like that. Like, someone had a big idea, some money, and it was like, you know what, we're going to go out to a beach and we're going to shoot this film. And he had, like, it felt like he had no idea what he was doing, or he had big ideas and had no idea how to translate them, because the story is there, but he doesn't care about it, really. He kind of settles into watching these actors wither away, and this story doesn't justify 2 hours of watching these characters just die. It really doesn't. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. It's kind of annoying because
I didn't even think, like, because what are M. Night films overall? They're suspenseful thriller, you know, and you see this movie and that's what it's being marketed as. It wasn't that, man. There was, I would have taken jump scares. There was none of that. Like, it was just a boring film. And it was a senseless, boring film with, I felt like the acting in the movie, with the exception of 2 to 3 characters,
was bad.
Bad, and not only bad, but like table reading, bad. Like, trying to find their beat, but M. Night was like, "We have no time. We're shooting this. Let's go." It was bad. Like, they were like pauses. Like, I don't remember verbatim the words, but I want to tell you that when they first discovered the first body, which you see in the trailer, and they're like, we got to stop the tour guide. And then I forget his name because he's in so many movies, the Asian actor.
See, like, I looked him up too. He's in a lot of movies, but like not a big part. Like, he was in Star Wars. He was in
he was in The Last Stand, X-Men. I'll get to him, but he was like, the tour guide, he's gone. Why? What's going on? like that. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me, dude. Like I'm like, that's noticeably bad, right? To my brother, and he goes, yeah, that was not deliberate. My brother's not a cinephile. He just, he'll watch anything. And it was just fuck, I hated this movie, man. It was,
No, everyone's and the dialogue is bad too. Every
yeah.
character makes a point to tell you what their
Ken
profession.
Lewin. Ken Lewin.
Yeah, every actor makes it a point to tell you what they do for a living, what their profession is. Why? Because maybe it'll come up later. Mostly it doesn't. Mostly it doesn't matter. Like there's this character in this movie called Mid-Size Sedan.
Mid-Size Sedan, man.
He's a rapper, and his name is Mid-Size Sedan. He's on the beach pretty early and doesn't age as fast as everyone else. That doesn't matter. They give him a backstory. He's a rapper. He was there with this woman. You're like, okay, maybe this is gonna be something. One of the kids knows who he is, and nothing comes of it. It doesn't matter. Every single character doesn't matter. Even the kids grow or age rapidly because you see the noticeable change usually from kids when they go to teenagers.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah,
that's normal. But there's stuff that happens with them that are like kind of big moments that aren't really addressed in a big way. Like one of the characters you see in the trailer, one of the characters gets pregnant. How did they get pregnant?
I actually wanted to talk about that. I was pretty bothered with that scene.
It's weird.
Right? I know it was. I don't. Okay, so I mean, I don't know if you want to put spoiler. It's kind of in the trailer, but
not yet. Do you have any other things you kind of like? Just basically like not even to wrap it up. Just movies usually have a twist in it. This one does. And it sucks.
It sucks. It didn't work for me. It's honestly did not work for me whatsoever. When I saw what the twist was, I'm like that. I'm like, I was watching the movie throughout, and I'm like, please tell me that the twist is actually going to be worth it, because there's a twist coming. It's MO, right?
Yeah.
And just throughout, I was watching it. I'm like, oh my god! Even some of the camera decisions that when he pans out. I'm like, what are you doing? And people are trying to like honestly, like not say anything bad about this film. They're like, oh well, the cinematography was good. No, it wasn't. The cinematography was not good in this film. You didn't know what he wanted to shoot, what he wanted to show you on screen.
Yeah. So you're noticing that too. Like when you see like the reactions and reviews, people are like, you can tell they didn't like it, but they like M. Night, so they're not trying to be mean to him. Even though they know deep down this movie's not good, like, and we can't like just.
I'm not gonna say anything. I won't throw names out there, but I personally know a friend of mine that interviewed M. Night. He saw this movie to interview M. Night because they're like, hey, you have an opportunity to do this, and he had a great time with the interview and all that. And I wrote to him and I was like, hey man, I'm like, good job on the interview. And he's like, yeah, dude. And then I'm like, what'd you think of the film? He's like, the movie was fucking terrible. Like, and it is what it is. Like, it sucks to say that, but if you had a friend and something was just not good, as a friend, I'd be like, hey man, it's not for you. It's not you're a shitty filmmaker. We obviously know he has the capability of writing some great stuff. This just wasn't it, No, and I feel, and I personally don't know M. Night, and I don't hate him. He's just very hit or miss for me. I just feel, and I could be wrong here, that he's like so far up his ass, right, that he won't let anybody touch his stuff because he wrote, directed, he did everything for this film. He's putting up his own money when. The concept is good. It's not a bad concept. If you watch this trailer, you're obviously intrigued, like, oh, what the hell is going to happen?
The trailer's great.
This is so great.
Yeah.
But why not have somebody else just like kind of like proofread your stuff and just be like, hey, I can kind of make this a little bit better. Example, I told you I was watching Movies That Made Us, right? I saw the Die Hard episode. The original writer of Die Hard had a different idea for the film. And then John McTiernan read the script and he goes, this is good, but I feel like we can make this better, right? And then we got what we got through a rewrite.
Yeah.
And it's considered one of the, the best Christmas movie of all time and one of the greatest action films of all time, right? It's okay to have your work rewritten. Like, they're still going to have, they're going to be your ideas. It's just people are going to be like, hey, let's pitch this in there. Let's do this in there. I feel like old given to somebody else to proofread or to see something like, well, this doesn't, is this going to work? But again, he doesn't let anybody do anything besides it has to be him. And that's what hurts him, I feel sometimes. Again, we know he's capable of doing greatness. I've seen some great, because The Sixth Sense still holds up. It is still a great film, you know? And then you get your shit like Old, which I can
And it
not.
felt like, too, man, it felt like, and this was, I sent this to you. My theory is that they were shooting on a beach, and it must have been hot out there. Like, it has to be really hot. And I feel like the actors and the camera crew and everyone was just like, all right, let's get this done as fast as possible. Let's just get it.
Not only that, and we were talking about the aging. So you see the character of Trent and Maddox grow rapidly. And what was the little girl's name, man?
Dude, let me look. This is another thing.
Kara.
This is another thing, real quick. If you can't really name characters, like if you can't really name the characters in a movie, it's not a good movie. Yeah. That's just kind of like a base general thing right there.
So whatever. You have these characters, and obviously they're aging quickly. You mentioned Midsize Sedan's character. I think his name is Brandon. I'm not sure. But you have the Midsize Sedan character, which was at the beach. So when you're at the beach in the film, every 30 minutes equals a year of your life. Obviously, kids are going to grow rapidly because, we in 10 years, you're completely different, right? Us as adults, we don't really change. Like, I feel I've looked the same since I was like 27. It's the same shit, right? Yeah. I just go balder and fatter. That's all it is. Anyways, so you had this character beforehand. We don't know how long, but let's say he was there 2-3 hours. He should be aging way quicker than our main characters. That does not happen. He actually looks younger, right? He looks like nothing happened to him whatsoever throughout the whole film, just a couple of nosebleeds. Then you have your other characters that are supposed to be, they're it's already a night scene, right? It's already nighttime. So they've been there since the morning. Our characters don't have anything but gray hairs and a little bit of crow feet. That was it. I thought we were going to see these people start turning into skeletons. That would have been even like something remotely, like, because they show a scene in the trailer where you see somebody kind of like, and it's not what you think. No. It's not. It's not what you think. So I'm like, what the hell are they doing here? Mm-hmm. And I think they probably didn't have the budget, which I would have cut so much off this film to have that type of budget to make at least that look somewhat appealing to a movie called Old and seeing our characters grow old, because all you get again is a couple of gray hairs and a couple of wrinkles on your faces. That's it. But that had to be done. That had to be budget. It couldn't be anything else. Or prosthetics from the sun. They couldn't make it work. I don't know, but they should have done it.
You never see, no character ever grows gray hair in this film. You never see it. Like even the skinny girl who's married to the guy who goes crazy, the doctor.
Style. Yeah.
I feel like she stayed young for a while. Like she for a long time, and then suddenly she just disappears and then comes back, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what happens.
I know we're like straight bashing this film, but let's talk pros very quick. It's very quick because there's not many. Thomasin McKenzie, great job.
Yeah,
what she had to work with. I know you didn't like Alex Wolff that much. I personally did. It's a hard task to tell, adult or an actor that, hey, you physically look 15, 16, whatever, or as an adult, but your mentality is still a mind of a 6-year-old. I feel like he nailed it. Like, I feel like he was very whiny and very and I'm like, and freaking out over nothing, and not nothing, but
so here's the thing. They make a point to mention that their minds are aging too. Like, they're starting to feel things and you get different thoughts and stuff like that. So I feel like he's not a 6-year-old when he.
Time out. I know where you're going. Hold that thought, because that's kind of one of the spoiler things that I talk about. Yeah, that's kind of one of the. I know exactly, and that's what bothered me. Anyways. So I feel like she did great. He did. I liked what he did, and I really liked Gael Garcia Bernal, given what he did. I think he was a good male lead. I liked his character a lot. He was just trying to problem solve the whole time. I liked his character. Rufus Sewell, he was good too. Everyone else,
like everyone else could give two shits. Like
everyone else. So the three male leads, and the daughter. That was it. Nothing else, character wise or acting wise. And I'm sorry, worked for me because everything was so wooden. It was like a table read. I couldn't get into it.
Like there's an actress in here named Vicky Krieps who was in Phantom Thread. That's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I believe she was nominated for an Oscar, at least close to it at that point. She was like the one Daniel Day-Lewis was going after in Phantom Thread. She's terrible in this.
She's terrible in this movie.
Did
not like her character, and her acting was bad.
Yes.
Bad. I felt like she acted like if I would have been in the movie. Like, I know I can act, but it was bad. I was noticing. I'm like, it's not me, right? Like the whole time. And mind you, I got to see this movie. God, I saw it. So I already told you guys that I had the choice of seeing this movie and seeing Snake Eyes. And I chose to see Snake Eyes, and I would see Old over the weekend. But I was privileged enough to get a screening, at-home screening, and I got to see it as soon as I saw Snake Eyes. I got home like around 10:30, 11. 11:30, I was watching Old, and I'm really pissed off that I missed some sleep over it because I had to work the next morning. But I wanted to. I was really intrigued. This movie just it doesn't work, and they the problem solving at the end when the characters start like realizing kind of what they had to do is some obscured shit that they mentioned in one sentence at the very beginning of the movie, where I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then once you find out what the twist is, you're like, no way, this is
so stupid. So we're gonna get into spoilers real quick, guys. If you haven't seen Old or you don't care about spoilers, you can cut it off right here. We'll be back next week with another episode of Jader and Kyle Show. Thank you for tuning in. But if you have seen Old and you want to hear our thoughts on spoilers, tune in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so spoilers for Old are in session. Jader, go for it.
Hated the fact that we get told that these characters have to stay, that they're 6 years old. They're adults or teenagers at this point, right? These two, character of Kara and Trent, are in a tent together. She starts feeling all, hot. And we don't see it happening, but we see basically 2 6-year-olds mentality-wise have sex.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Completely unnecessary, because if you clip, and that's all a 10 15-minute scene at most, if you clip that 10 and 15 minutes, it does nothing for the story. It doesn't change it. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it any worse.
No, because she becomes pregnant and the baby dies instantly.
10 15 seconds. That was it.
So you take it all out, none of it matters. Not a single thing. And here's another thing that bothers me is while they're in this tent together, everybody else is at the other side of this magical beach that's aging them, and they're talking about this dead body over here. It's like these parents you're not aware that, like, you don't care that your kids are just suddenly gone.
Yeah, they're worried about the girl that died versus the kids that are aging rapidly, and they're like, how the hell? What do we do with these?
And you already saw them start aging too. It's not like you hadn't seen them yet. No, they had already started aging, and you just like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. We're not going to care about them right now. Like, what is going on? The mid-sized sedan thing bothers me a lot because they give him a backstory. They give him everything. And they set up that the kid knows who he is. And even there's like a little flirtation there. Like there's a moment where he puts his hand on her shoulder and stuff like that. And then he just gets murdered by the doctor. The doctor just starts stabbing him, which they imply that the doctor's racist. And then that's never brought up about his racism. They never attack it. They never address it.
He had mental illness, if I'm not mistaken, right? And obviously a race. But one of the things that I don't know, you saw when they were getting stabbed and cut, their
healing
super fast. They were like Wolverine. I thought I thought mid-sized sedan was gonna survive. But they don't explain any of them. Is it maybe because he got the heart and I don't know, but
his things like blood clots, I believe. I think that everyone's there because they have a certain disease.
Yeah, that essentially, which we're not going to give. Again, this is spoilers for things we were bothered. We're not going to give complete detail on what the twist is. But yeah, that honestly, that scene bothered the hell out of me, and I know it was done for shock factor, I guess, but it was just poor. It was he needed advice on that. Where I think anybody would have been like, "That's not a." Even as the actor, I would have been like, "It's not a really good idea, dude. Like, are you sure you want to bring this up? Like, you want to shoot this?" I mean, again, you don't see any intercourse, you don't see anything. It was basically she mentions like, "Oh, my body's feeling weird," and then a cut scene where we're with the adults. Cut scene, you see that she's coming out with a big belly. That was it. Like it's not like you see anything at all. There was not even a kissing scene or anything. It's just, but they had sex and he got her pregnant. It wasn't subtle at all. Like, is it not? And then you see it in the trailer where you see her character as a kid running around, and then you see kind of the same shirt and a girl that's pregnant. And I'm like, in the trailer, I was like, no way. I'm like, really? And then, no, they went that way, dude. They went that way.
No, it doesn't make sense. It really bothered me just how little thought was put into this, and it's just like what the biggest shame is. This is M. Night Shyamalan. Like, you've been doing this for over 20 years at this point. You should not be making movies this bad. Yep. Also, like, you should be able to demand actors at this point. What are you doing with these guys who just they can act, but you didn't get any performances out of them
whatsoever?
Like, what was the last good performance you saw from M. Night movie? James McAvoy in Split and Glass, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, like, you started off with Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson and Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix and like these big names.
Well, even if you go to The Village, he had Adrian Brody, he had Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, he has throughout. He had Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he had Paul.
He had Paul Giamatti. Like, he can get actors.
Will Smith.
He has Will Smith, exactly.
And then just like he's like, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. And it's like, why? Because if you would have replaced these actors with good actors, which these are good actors, but even like actors that tried.
But that's the thing. What I'm saying, I don't think it was them, because we all know and we've seen what they're capable of. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
I know Gael Garcia Bernal. You're not so. He's a Mexican actor.
Mm-hmm.
That man can act.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it wasn't demanded from Shyamalan. I feel like he was like, that's good, we'll work with that. It felt very amateur, man. It sucked.
Can we get into the end real quick? Because I was still kind of confused on when they found the note that said, "My dad's afraid of the coral," or said, "Stay away from the coral."
Doesn't like the coral, I think.
Doesn't like the coral. What is, like, how did that even happen? How did that?
He knows that was their getaway. He knows that that's the way to escape.
So the kid knows about this.
The kid knows about this. Yeah.
Oh, that kid sucks too then.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, I don't know. The thing was, and this is what I feel, is that the kid doesn't know who goes and who stays. At least that's what I got from it. I didn't think I thought the kid was pretty good. I don't think that he knew, because he would remember his uncle would tell him all the time, stay away from the diner. When he invites, remember the kid comes down and he's looking for him and he like demands him to like leave immediately. I don't feel like the kid knows. But then at the same time, why would he say that to him? Is it just in case this happens to you?
Why would he write a coded message?
I don't know. It's stupid. I'm telling you, it was just completely fucking stupid.
And then it kind of gets to the point where like they did all of this because they're creating medicine and they want to be able to
the whole twist was it was that, like, they give you like a kind of like an antidote to whatever disease you have, and and that's how, and they put you on that island to speed up time to see how much it would cure you. So you had a lady, which we didn't mention, with epilepsy, blood clots, tumors, etc.
The tumor thing was nasty. That actually might have been the best part of the movie.
That was the best part of the movie for me, but I like shit like that. So I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
Another pro there. Yeah, absolutely. The tumor scene was really cool. But you get that, and then the whole twist is that I guess we are going to go into spoilers. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, it is spoilers for old. Like we gotta.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the twist is that they give you an antidote when you get to this luxurious hotel, and they already know specifically what you have, what disease you have, and whatnot, and then they measure if they created a cure or not based on how much time you survive on that island. That's it. That's the truth. Like, but yeah, dude, I cannot recommend this movie. I can't do that to you guys, or do it and then just laugh. Very laughable. There's so many scenes that people were like, not people, when my cousin called me and he was like, man, the theater was rolling in certain scenes of how funny. And the thing that's crazy is how serious some of those moments were. Sorry, my laptop is dying. How serious some of these moments are. How serious some of these moments are. And, people were just laughing.
Another thing that doesn't make sense too is so like you can't leave the beach unless you swim through the coral, obviously, but that just comes at the end out of nowhere. But they make a point to show like anytime you try to go back the way you came or swim or climb, you black out, right? So at the end in the lab, you see in the case they have the rock of like a piece of the rock sitting there. It's like, how'd you get the rock? Who got the rock? What happens if you touch that rock? Do you start like it? Just I don't know. There's like so many just random questions that this.
You know how The Happening had trees? This has rocks. That's pretty much what it is.
And it just kind of sucks that we're sitting here talking about another bad M. Night movie.
It sucks. It really does suck, man. And he was on his way up, in my opinion, with Visit, Split, and Glass is mediocre. Let's call it for what it is. It's not this by far, but it's not great either. It's mid tier. For me, it's a mid tier film. But this for me, man, I don't know. I have to kind of revisit other movies, but I want to say like this is there with like Lady in the Water bad, like and Happening bad. It's bad. It's a bad movie.
I don't know, man. Like if you've been doing this for this long, getting wide release films, like you can't be looking like you just graduated film school.
Yeah,
you can't do that. So neither of us recommend Old. You don't need to see this at all, and it sounds like people like it was number one at the box office. So the trailer's great. Like
I'm sure there's a lot of pissed off people that we haven't talked to that've seen this movie. I'm sure there's a lot of pissed off people because honestly, based on the trailer, and it's M. Night, he's gonna put butts in seats every single time. I promise you, even after this, his next film, cut a great trailer. People are gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be more of a I don't know, but cut a great trailer. People are gonna go see it.
Exactly. So he's gonna keep working, and I appreciate his personality. He loves film. He's one of those guys who makes the rounds, puts the time in. Like he really loves this stuff. But man, dude, you're better than this.
I'm always gonna be rooting for him.
Yeah.
Again, I'm always gonna root for him. I understand why people were very weary about talking ill about the film, but let's call it for what it is.
We're critics for a reason. Like you have to find the flaws. So Old is not a recommendation.